Hi guys, happy Christmas. It is the last day of our INKVENT calendar. I am a little sad, but also very excited to see what we get as our big bottle. Okay, let's open it up. Okay. This is what we're looking like. Oh no, it's another extreme sheening ink. Okay, I expected at least one more sheening ink. Let's see what Good Tidings has to offer. To be honest, I understand why they put another extreme sheening ink as day number 25. I'm not super happy with that though, because I'm not the biggest fan of the sheening inks so far. I think they're kind of unpractical. But yeah, let's see what we're looking like. I'm back. I gave the ink some time to dry. Let's talk about Good Tidings. I feel like, even though this is an extreme sheen ink, I feel like the sheen is a little less intense than it was on the previous extreme sheening inks, which I am happy about. If you are a fan of the sheening inks, maybe you wouldn't be happy about that, but I personally am, because this is the first of the sheening inks that is kind of not smearing all over the page for me, as you can see. I only put down one drop of ink like I did at the last few times that I was watching them, because I realized that putting down a lot can cause the ink to kind of chip off where the sheen is drying. That did not happen today, which I am super happy about. The color is... At first I thought it's just straight up black, but I feel like it is a very dark purple. I don't know if my camera will pick it up, but at the edges where the ink is a little lighter, it actually looks like a very dark purple in person and not just straight up black. And the sheen is a nice dark olivey green. It's not as green as Sleigh Ride was, as you can see. It's a bit of a more toned down sheening ink, which I personally am really happy about, and I also like the color. In a way, I feel like it's kind of weird that they're finishing the calendar with this ink, because I feel like it might seem a little underwhelming to some people, because it is a very dark black with a purple hue to it, and it has a green sheen. But it's not as extreme of a sheen as we've had in the previous days. But again, I am happy about that, and I do like the ink. I am honestly happy, because when I opened the last day of the calendar and saw that it would be an extreme sheener, I was kind of sad, to be honest, because I don't like the sheening inks that much. But I feel like this is nice. Is it my favorite? No. But it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about it? I feel like it would be time to kind of take a look down, walk down memory lane and look at all of the inks that we had in the calendar. I will get you a little closer and let's take a look. Okay, I've brought you a little closer to my swatch book so we can take a look at all of the inks that we had in the calendar so far. Day 1, Baltic Breeze. I still love this color. It is actually one of my favorites in the calendar. I have it inked in my Twisby at the moment, and I really, really like it. It's a nice blue that leans very purple toned, like lavender color, and it has an amazing bronze gold shimmer, and I feel like it complements the ink so well. It is definitely one of my favorites. Wilted Rose. I like Wilted Rose. Again, I am a fan of brown inks. However, it is not super special to me, to be honest. Noble Fur, I like, although I don't really use very bright colors that often, but I feel like it is kind of fitting for Christmas. It is a nice Christmassy green with the Star Bright shimmer, which is a very intense silver shimmer. Forest Gâteau, I was not super excited at first, but I've kind of grown to like Forest Gâteau over the weeks. Icy Lilac, I feel like I wouldn't have needed Icy Lilac in my calendar, especially that close to Baltic Breeze. I feel like I prefer Baltic Breeze out of the two. It's an okay ink, definitely, like it's nice, but I feel like I would not have needed both of them in the calendar. And if I could switch it out, I probably would have switched it out for another ink, because Baltic Breeze I feel like is nicer than Icy Lilac is. I really like Cranberry. I was confused as to why this was labeled as a standard ink, because the sheen on this is really, really strong, and it also comes off really strong when you're writing with it. I also have this ink inked at the moment, and I do really like it. It's a nice one. Lemon and Lime, that was our first chameleon ink. I liked this ink. I think I liked it because it was so out there and so out of what I have in my collection. But over the time of the whole advent calendar, I kind of realized that this is probably not going to be super useful. I mean, if you are into art or if you are into calligraphy, you will probably get quite a lot of use out of this. But if you're just writing with fountain pens, like I personally write with fine or extreme fine nibs, so I don't know how much use I'm gonna get out of it. It is a nice ink. I like that it is something out of the norm, but again, how much use am I gonna get out of it? I don't know yet. Marley, I do like Marley. It is a very, very purple toned gray. I would still consider it a gray though, and not a purple. I do like it. I have a soft spot for browns, grays, and greens, so I do like this one. However, Wishing Tree, I love so much more. Wishing Tree is so nice. It is definitely one of my favorite inks in the calendar. I have it inked in my Kaweco collection, Olivine, and I really like the combination. It is a gray which leans to an olive green. I feel like this ink is kind of hard to describe whether you see it as a gray or you see it as an olive green. I feel like the ink is kind of in between, and it has a nice green shimmer to it. I feel like it's so nice. The shimmer also leans to a purple. I don't know if you will be able to see it on camera right now, but it shifts to a purple, which I do really like. I actually like everything about Wishing Tree. Then we head to Chilly Nights. I do really like Chilly Nights. It's a star bright ink, and I feel like the silver complements the dark, dark blue of this ink so well. It is also one of my favorites, to be honest. I really like this one. Grotto I really dislike. I don't like the orange, and I don't like the green sheen with it. I feel like if this would have red sheen, I might like it a little more. I don't know. I don't really like the extreme sheening inks in general because they just peel and smudge everywhere. It's not as bad with Grotto, but still it's okay. but I don't really like it, to be honest. Snow Globe, however, I really, really like. It's another chameleon one, and I personally really, really like it. I am not the biggest fan of blue inks. I don't know if you will be able to see the chameleon effect, but it goes from a pink to a blue. It's really nice. Again, I don't really like blue that much, but I actually really enjoy Snow Globe, and I feel like it's also different enough from Chilly Nights. So I do like both of them. Lullaby, I like. I don't usually like super bright inks all that much, but I do really like Lullaby. It's nice to have. Mint Twist I also like. I feel like especially next to Lullaby, it looks super nice. Will I be using it a lot? I'm not sure. Again, I'm not really that much of a fan of bright inks. Sleigh Ride, I don't like. I like it a little more than Grotto, but again, these extreme sheening inks, they just go everywhere. Like, I feel like I hope you can see it on my book pages here. Everything has a blue and red tint to it because it's coming off from Sleigh Ride and it's coming off from Vibe, and I don't really like it. Again, this might be user error. I think I've said it every time that I'm swatching an extreme sheening ink and this happens, because I feel like when I'm swatching inks, I'm putting down quite a lot of ink. So if I'm writing with the ink in my fountain pen, I'm not sure whether we will have this amount of peeling and smudging, but in my swatch book it's kind of annoying because every page is now stained and it is impossible to get off. Like, I have tried to get as much of it off every time that I open it, and I wash my hands all the time, but I feel like the blue is haunting me. It's honestly following me around everywhere, and I don't really like it. But yeah, we were actually talking about Sleigh Ride, I think. Yeah, I like it more than Grotto. But again, I'm not that into the sheening inks, to be honest. I really like Tundra. I think it's a nice gray to have. I like it. If you're not that much into gray or you already have a lot of them, you won't love it as much. But I personally really like it because for me, it is a great addition, because it is a darker version to this ink by Lennon Toolbar, which I really like, but it's very light when you're writing with it, and this ink is a lot darker. So I feel like this is, for me, a perfect addition to my collection, and I really like this ink. Winterberry surprised me. I actually like Winterberry quite a lot. It's a strong pink toned red with a pink to gold shimmer and a light bit of a green sheen to it. I feel like this ink is offering so much, and it looks different in depending on which light you're in, which I really like. It's a very strong toned ink. I feel like it's quite nice that we have like the Christmas green with Noble Fir and the Christmas red with Winterberry. Vibe, I don't like this ink. It's not vibing for me. It is everywhere, and I don't particularly like it. I also feel like, hasn't this been done like so many times? A like dark teal with a red sheen. I don't know. I feel like it's not super special in a way. And again, I don't really like any of the extreme sheening inks that much. Again, they might perform really well in your fountain pen. In my swatch book, it is quite a disaster, to be honest, and I don't like it. Fruit Cocktail, I don't like. Oh, I think I forgot to mention that Forest Gâteau was a scented ink. I feel like out of the two, Forest Gâteau smelled a little nicer. It smelled like a sweet cherry, and Fruit Cocktail just smelled fruity and very intense. If you are not into scented inks, stay away from this because it smells very strongly. And color-wise, I just don't like it that much. It is an extremely bright orange, and it doesn't have a lot of shading to it. I feel like in the writing it just looks quite flat, and I don't know. I'm not that into super bright colors. I feel like that's also why I dislike Grotto that much. And yeah, Fruit Cocktail, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it. I don't really like it. Maybe I will find some use in the summer months. It could be quite nice, but at the moment, I'm not really into it. Potpourri is okay. I feel like it is a bit of a chroma shader. I think on camera it looks a little more gray. In person it definitely looks a little more blue, but the chroma shading is very, very light. And all of these specs down here are actually from the previous page from Vibe. They are not in the ink, so I'm sorry about that. I like it, but it's not super special to me. Cosmic Glow was one of the extreme sheening inks that I actually liked at first a lot more because I really liked the color combination a lot more. But again, it is smearing all over the place. It is not really that easy to use. Again, I've just swatched these inks. Maybe it will be a lot better when you're writing with it. But because of that, I don't really like this ink. So this page is kind of inks that I dislike, all of them. So I was so happy when we got to day 22, 23, 24 because I love them all so much. Nutmeg is really nice. It is right between a brown and a gray. Let's actually compare it to Tundra. It is a little more brown toned and a little warmer than Tundra is. And it is super nice. I love the gold shimmer. I love the color. I love the name. I love everything about this ink. Same as Pine Needle. I really like that we got another green, but that is not as green as Noble Fir was. Noble Fir is really, really bright green. And Pine Needle is a lot more toned down. It's a bit of a more of an olive green. And I really like the color. I really like the chameleon sheen. I don't know if my camera will pick it up, but it is sheening from a green to a gold. It is super nice. I really like this ink. Salted Caramel was yesterday's ink. I really, really like this ink. It is for me a good addition to my collection because I have previously been mixing a few inks together to get like a nice brown with a shimmer to it, which I now have, and I am super happy about it. I really like Salted Caramel. Maybe if you already have a lot of inks, this won't be super exciting to you. To me it is. I love my browns, I love my greens, I love my grays. I just love all of these. And today's ink, Good Tidings. I have to say I am happy that it is not as extreme of a sheen than the other inks were, but I feel like I will have to give it time because all of the sheening inks that we had, they kind of start to smudge over time. Like the more you open the book, the more you crinkle the pages, some bits fly off. So maybe this will happen here as well. So far it hasn't. And if I just go over it with my finger, nothing is coming off, thankfully. Color-wise, it is not super exciting, I do have to be honest. I like it. It is a very, very, very dark purple. It looks almost black. I like it. I like the green sheen. I feel like it complements the color nicely. In writing, it just looks like a dark green if you're writing with it. Like a black with a green sheen to it. I like it. I think it's a very good ink for writing. Color-wise, I can't really speak that much on the sheen yet. However, I do have to say I think it's kind of weird that they are finishing the calendar with this ink. I mean, I like the name, Good Tidings. It's kind of like, you know, looking into the future brightly or whatever. But the color is, I don't know. It's not really that special, I feel like. So overall with the calendar, to be honest, this is just my personal opinion. I feel like we all have our preferences. Some people like shimmers, some people like sheens, some people like scented inks. I feel like what I like is that there was something in this calendar for everybody. I do have to say that. I personally could have skipped all of the sheening inks, but that's just my opinion. I feel like my favorite category of inks were the shimmers and the chameleon inks. I really like probably all of the shimmers and chameleon inks that we got, some more, some less. I wouldn't have needed the scented inks. They are okay. I like the color of Forest Chateau, but I don't really like Fruit Cocktail. I feel like that was kind of an unnecessary ink for me personally. But yeah, I am honestly really happy with the calendar. For me, it was worth the price. It was, of course, quite an investment, but I feel like if you don't have that many inks yet, an advent calendar is a great way to have more inks and to try out different inks. I am happy that I now know that I don't like sheening inks, so I won't purchase any in like bigger bottles. Yeah, I'm honestly quite happy. I'm also quite happy that I picked up this advent calendar. I was debating between the Colorverse one and the Diamine one, and I'm honestly really happy that I picked up this calendar because I feel like the inks offer more variety in color and also more variety with the shimmers and the sheening inks, just a lot more inks in general. And I'm quite happy that I picked up this calendar, not the Colorverse calendar. Also, the Colorverse calendar is more expensive than this one, so I am really happy that I picked up this one. And maybe I will also pick it up again next year. Of course, it depends how many inks I will have by the time. But yeah, honestly, I can only recommend this calendar if you don't have that many inks yet, or if you want to try out different inks. I can really recommend it. I feel like there was also something in this calendar for everybody, whether you like brighter colors, whether you like more toned down colors. Yeah, I think it was great. I am definitely happy with my purchase. I am happy with the inks that I got. And lastly, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who was checking in daily, who wrote me some comments, who also wrote me some messages. So thank you to everybody who was a part of our Diamine INKVENT journey. I'm gonna go over to my in-laws now to celebrate Christmas. I hope you had a nice Advent. I hope you will have a nice Christmas today. And I hope you will check in with me for another video. Definitely not for a while though, because I feel like I kind of need to recover after filming this many videos. I'm new to YouTube, and filming daily, editing daily, and uploading daily was kind of a challenge for me, if I'm honest. But I feel like I've learned a lot, which is nice. I'm definitely a lot faster now with my editing program, which is also nice. And yeah, it was a nice challenge for me. And I hope you liked watching, and I will see you in another video. Take care, guys, and again, happy Christmas. Bye.